Here is an example on how you can send and receive survey results from your customers when you help solve their cases using Slack Connect. In this example, I have a closed case, and when the case is closed, I send them an option of 5 different emojis that they can click on and tell us about their experience. In this video, we're going to overview how to build this functionality. The first step is you need to be able to send this notification out when your case is closed. We're going to make modifications to a flow that updates the user when the case status changes. So in this example, it's a record-triggered flow that fires when the status is changed, and we are firing this on the asynchronous path. Once that's completed, you're going to do a linked conversations get flow element, and this is going to return all the places where this case is posted. For this example, I'm looking at the linked record on the linked conversation objects that this gets populated when you post your case to Slack Connect, and I'm matching it on the record ID from the triggering flow element. Once that's done, I'm returning all the records because I want all of the places where this is posted to be updated. I'm going to loop through that loop and make the following processes happen during that outcome. First, I'm going to set a handful of variables from the linked conversation object. I have a channel ID, the message timestamp, the current status, and the case ID here. These are coming from the single output from the loop of the linked conversation here and here, the triggering case, and the triggering case ID. Then I have a decision here that will fire, and I'm having 2 outcomes. One, if the case is not closed, continue and just go down this not closed path. And this will simply update the thread and the record block with the case status. Notice that we're using variables here, and we're using the message send option of send as reply. We're going to focus on the survey, and that goes down the default path when the case is closed. So the first item we're going to do is we're going to set the variable to the channel ID so we can have it fire dynamically. And then we're going to go ahead and let them know that the case status is closed. Next, in the following flow element, which is also a send notification element, we are going to ask them to rate their experience. In the text box, you can see here I've added a message asking them to fill out the survey. And again, I'm using the variable here to post to whatever channel the case is in. In the message options, I'm using send as a reply, and I've had the message timestamp set to that variable. These are all text variables. In the custom buttons, this is where you see we've created buttons for our emojis. Each one of these buttons is an emoji, so I simply have hit the plus sign, selected the emoji that best represents a 1 through 5 scale, and then deleted out the new button syntax. In addition, in the API name here, I've ranked these buttons and added a variable for the case ID. This is going to allow me to link this survey to the case that it was initially assigned to and create the correct value. So you can see all of these emojis are labeled 1 through 5 with the case ID variable behind them. In the selected options, you can see here that I'm deleting the message after it is pressed, so that way I can ensure that people aren't filling out the survey more than once. And I'm publishing a platform event so that way I can process when the button is clicked. Now let's look at how we're processing these emojis. We are using a platform event-driven flow that allows you to capture information when the button is clicked. You can see here I have a set variables assignment flow where I'm setting several of the pieces associated to that platform event to different variables. These are all text variables and all can be used based on what outcome you're reaching out to based on other videos around Slack Connect. In this example, in the router, When I am processing the survey, I'm in the CSAT Create Survey, and I am just checking to see if the platform event API name starts with a 1 through 5. I'm using an OR condition here to make sure I can capture it regardless of which number comes through. The next step is you have to include two formula fields to split out the case ID and the score. In the formula for the score, we're capturing it using this formula to pull out the number to populate the CSAT survey object. For the case ID, we're using a very similar formula that pulls out the case ID from the API name here. Once I have those two formulas and my decision path, you can see in the CSAT Create CSAT outcome, I have a single flow element to create that record. I'm populating the author, the case, and the score field with the formulas that were created earlier, and then the var username from the Centro platform event so I know who filled out the survey from the customer side. That allows me to capture survey records when customers click on the correct emoji. This is a quick example on how we can gather survey information from cases using Slack Connect, Centro, and Salesforce. Please reach out with any questions.